when that happens, it's going to take out your cell towers too.
Yeah.
So, when communication goes down, do you have a communication plan? I mean, we happen to have S&B Homestead Radio that's going to be teaching a workshop the day before the festival, and they're going to be teaching about how to set up that communication plan with your family so you know how to get in touch with each other when something bad happens. It's um
And a lot of the stuff, as far as the communications, you're going to use the communications are not sexy by any means, but you're going to use the communications a lot more than you're going to use
yeah, you
guns and
will.
stuff like that. The sexy stuff. So the unsexy stuff is going to keep you alive more than the sexy stuff will for sure.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Homestead HQ where we talk about homesteading and preparedness. I am Shelly.
And I'm Jason. Guys, welcome back. We're glad to have you here. Glad for y'all listening. We've got an awesome podcast today. We're going to be dealing with some of the supply chain issues that might be popping up, and also going to be talking about, was it Hurricane Helena or Helena?
Helene.
Helene, that's coming through and is causing major chaos in most of the southeast and everything. It's kind of crazy. But before we get into that, let's jump in. One of the sponsors that makes all this possible for us is VacMaster. The website's VacMasterFresh.com. They make commercial chamber sealers, all kinds of butchering equipment, stainless steel tables, and equipment like that. Use the code Homestead to get 15% off your order. They make awesome stuff. I use the stuff almost every day. Shelly can testify. She's got a bunch of their knives. And
Yeah, their knives are awesome. They're just as good as Victorinox.
yeah,
I actually use them more than my Victorinox knives.
I keep a couple of their 6-inch boning knives. I keep a couple of those up in the kitchen, and I'll grab one of those before I grab some of the other high dollar knives I've got in there just to cut pork chops or something like that. And also, there's been many a times where I've used one of those boning knives to cut my steak for dinner. It looks kind of weird. People look at you, but it's like, hey, the darn thing's sharp and it does good. So it's only stupid if it doesn't work. So, but yeah, guys, go check that out. It's VacMasterFresh.com and use the code Homestead for 15% off. Shelly, I heard. Tell us a story about the guys that got mad while they're doing your fence. You just sent me a text. You sent me a text. I was like, "How's the fence going?" You're like, "I just got like an abbreviated version. Essentially, people were pissed off and left." It's a
Oh my
story I can.
god.
Are you that hard to work for?
It had nothing to do with me. I was in the house. So we actually started getting our fence worked on. When was this? I guess it was Thursday. Uh, so I had to go to work for a few hours, and then I came home and worked from home. And they were supposed to be there sometime between 8 and 9. I didn't get home till almost 10, and they still weren't there. But they got there shortly after I got home, and it was there was the guy that was in charge, which is I think maybe the son of the guy that quoted us the job, and then two guys that work for them. And so they showed up. I took the head guy that was in charge. I took him around and showed him, down at the bottom of our field and all that stuff, everything that I wanted. That probably took about an hour, and then they were going around and measuring off and like putting, spray painting where they were going to put H braces and where we wanted gates and all of that kind of stuff. They were doing all of that. They worked for about 4 hours. So I think they were there from like 9:30 to 1:30. So it was probably around 9:30 when they got there, I guess. And then so I'm in the house working. Randy was out in the field behind our house because there's an area where I want the fence to go, but it's still overgrown. And they don't clear that out. So he's back there trying to clear that area out. And I walked back there. This was, let me think. I noticed that they left around 1:30. I'm sitting there thinking that they went to lunch, right? About 3:30, I go outside to, check on him and see what's going on with him. And I saw that they're still not there. And I said, where's the guys? And he goes, they got mad. And I said, mad about what? I was like, did you say something to him? And he was like, I didn't say nothing to him. And one of the guys that worked, one of the helpers or whatever, he got mad about something. And this is like right before the storm starts rolling in. So
Yeah.
Thursday night was when we started getting rain from the hurricane. And but it still wasn't raining bad at all. It was just like sprinkling a little bit. And he said that the guy told the other guys that they were like, it's starting to rain. And the head guy was like, oh, you'll be fine or something like that. And he goes, I'm not working in the rain. And then Randy said he was just like upset about something. And then they started arguing. And then the one guy threatened to leave, like just walk out. And so next thing I know, they're all loaded up and ready to go. And that was like at 1:30. So yeah, they didn't come back. They only worked for I think they put, I want to say there's like 3 wooden posts in the ground that they drove in the ground, and that's it. And then they left.
Wow. They really put a show in then, didn't they?
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
So and with this storm, of course they didn't come back Friday. I mean, and I didn't expect them to. Aren't we supposed to get rain around here until like Tuesday or something like that? So they're probably not going to be back till midweek next week. I mean, at least the ground's not going to be super hard and they're going to be able to, drive those posts and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm just okay.
Well,
I don't understand it, but whatever.
It'll eventually come together for you.
Maybe by Christmas.
Yeah. Well, then
by Christmas.
Then you can string Christmas lights on it for Christmas.
Fun.
Hopefully they'll have it in before the festival. Would be nice.
That would be nice.
I mean, if you get some dry days and no rain and everything, I mean, the guys that are equipped and put fence up for a living have all the tools, and it's amazing how fast they can put that stuff up.
Well, they brought a big tractor out. It's sitting out on the other side of Sam's place, and then it's got one of those things, those hydraulic things, I guess, that pound the fence post in the ground on the tractor. So they've got all of that, and I don't know.
Wow.
We'll have to see.
Wow.
The guy that's in charge, he told me that he works, like a regular job, and he just helps his dad out on his days off. And so I don't know. I don't know if they were arguing with him or I don't know what it was all about because I wasn't out there, but who knows? We'll see.
Wow. Well, anything else been going on good?
I made a bunch of soap today for the festival.
All right.
So we'll have soap for sale at the festival. What else have I got going on?
Did you get the straight frog scent ready?
No.
All right. Well,
I thought about making like a new scent or something tomorrow because tomorrow is really like the last day I have before it has enough time to cure that I can bring it to the festival. And I was looking at some different scents that I have in there that I haven't tried yet. So I might have something new at the festival. We'll have to see.
I'm telling you, do the straight frog and make it a green soap. It would sell. I'll buy a thing of it. So, I am almost out of the cattle business. Thank God. I am so done with the cows. I took Mark off to the sale barn, took him off Sunday, and the sale was on Monday. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed. He was heavier than what I thought. He went 695 is what he weighed.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was heavier than what I thought. I was looking at past sales. I'm like, man, it's going to do pretty good. But for some reason, nobody wanted a 700-pound bull calf. And he went for freaking $1.60 a pound. I was very disappointed on that. I was figuring at least $2 a pound at a minimum, but he went for $1.60, and I'm like, and I couldn't be there at the sale. I would have bid him up a little bit, or tried to bid him up a little bit, or just brought him back home and fed him for a few more months and stuck him in the freezer if I knew he was going to go that cheap. So, but hindsight's 2020. I've worked out a deal with a guy I used to go to high school with. He lives like 4 or 5 miles down the road. He's got a field right next to my parents, and Ginger is going to go down there, and he's either going to buy Ginger from me, or he's going to take care of her, and then we're every time she has a calf, once we sell the calf, we're going to split the money. So we've got it worked out. So technically, if he buys her, I'm totally out of the cattle business. But if she's still mine and we split the profits, then I'm going to be, quote, I guess, a silent partner in the cow. That's what I'll be.
There you go.
So
at least you won't have to deal with it at your place.
Exactly. One way or another, I'll have less mouths to feed here. And then I've got to check the dates. The next sale that they do sheep, I've got 4 rams that I need to take up there and get rid of those. And then the first cold or first cool weekend we've got, I'm gonna put two more lambs in the freezer. So there'll be a lot less mouths to feed this winter and everything else. So, and then thank goodness we've gotten all the rain, so everything will kind of green up. The pastures were sounding like you're walking on Rice Krispie treats out there.
Yeah, it's been really dry around here too.
Yeah. So before we get into any kind of news, guys, Signature Solar is one of our major sponsors for the festival, and they make the podcast happen also. Go check those guys out at signaturesolar.com. Use the code Homestead. You'll get some money off on your order. Those guys are going to be at the festival October 26th and 27th. They're going to have a booth set up showing a bunch of their different products. They're actually going to have another coupon code for the festival that if you buy at the festival or a couple days after the festival, it'll be active. But go check those guys out. They're a major help in our festival and the podcast, bringing it to you. And it's signaturesolar.com, and the code is Homestead. Shelly, I know we usually do some good news and stuff like that, but I know you've got something with the recent events of the hurricane that I know you wanted to talk about that one of our friends is putting together right now.
Yeah, so instead of a news story, it's kind of a news story. It's letting you know something that's happening that you might want to participate with. But so Nicole Sauce from Self-Reliance Festival, and guys, Self-Reliance Festival is October, is it 4th and 5th?
5th and 6th, I think.
5th and 6th. Is this coming up weekend? I'm not sure when this podcast is going to go out. It'll be sometime this week, right?
Yeah.
So Self-Reliance Festival in Camden, Tennessee, you'll want to go check that out. They've got a lot of great speakers. It's a great event. I've been to several of them. It's a really good time. But Nicole is the organizer for the Self-Reliance Festival, and she is. I noticed on her Facebook this morning, she popped up and said that she wanted to. She was looking for somebody to help her organize this because she doesn't really have the time to do it. She just knows a lot of people that would want to do it, but they're talking about organizing a delivery to Newport, Tennessee and the surrounding areas, trying to get to those rural areas that, it takes some time to get some aid to those people. And these are all people that are affected by Hurricane Helene that has taken out. I saw a map this morning that showed every road going into Asheville, North Carolina is either washed away or flooded. And in Newport, Tennessee, there was a dam that was compromised. The whole town flooded. What was that? Chimney Rock?
Chimney Furnace, I think.
Chimney Rock, I think is what it's called. Chimney Rock Village in North Carolina, or maybe it's Eastern Tennessee. That town got washed away. It's like gone. Like the whole main strip of the town is gone. So there's all these areas that need help, and they're talking about taking diapers, feminine hygiene, water, toiletry kits, all of that kind of stuff out there, and they're trying to get a group of people together to do that. If you go to Self-Reliance Festival to their Facebook page, or you go to Nicole Sauce, it's SAUCE. You can message Nicole. You can message Self-Reliance Festival if you want to donate money and let them go buy the stuff. They'll be more than happy to do that, I'm sure. I will say this though, back when it's been several years ago that they had the wildfires in Gatlinburg around the Smokies. We had a friend. We took up a bunch of donations, coats, and all that kind of stuff because that whole thing happened around Thanksgiving, and a lot of people lost a lot of stuff in that fire. But we took up donations of coats and water and just all kinds of stuff. And I knew someone who was actually filling up their van and driving this stuff down there. I prefer, me personally, I prefer to donate to stuff like that. If I know you and I know that you're going to go do this and help these people out, that means, you know, almost 100% of my money or my stuff is going to the people who need those things. I mean, they might have to fill up their gas tank to get out there, but by and large, most of what they collect is going to be going to help those people. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to donate to big organizations, but I will say when you donate to big organizations, you're usually paying salaries. Very little of you might get out of $1, you might get a quarter, if that, that actually goes to the thing that you're donating money to. If you don't believe me, look it up, do your research. But this is just somebody that we know personally, and we know that they're going to collect items and take them to people in need and hand them out. And if you want to help support that, look up SRF, Self Reliance Festival, and contact Nicole, and I'm sure she'll be happy to get with you and get your donation.
Oh yeah, it's a good cause, and I like the smaller charities just for the simple fact of what you said, Shelley. Typically, the bigger the organization, the less money that actually goes to the event. And a grassroots thing like what Nicole's doing is awesome because I would say like 99.9%, of the money that's donated is going to go to that. And I can understand, if somebody's going to fill their truck up or something like that, that's totally that's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you didn't donate 100%. But hey, that's great, the grassroots stuff, and guys, go check that out and donate if you can, and see what's going on. Before we get into the main topic, I wanted to hit real quick our festival. Don't forget about our festival. It's the Kentucky Sustainable Living, Homesteading, and Preparedness Festival in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Go to the website, KentuckySustainableLiving.com. You can get your tickets. You can get your tickets for the charity dinner. We got a charity dinner Saturday night for Caleb House. We've got a huge goal set of $86,000. And it is a little comical, but the thing is,
A little comical.
if we're supposed to raise $86,000, we'll raise $86,000. If we're
You're
only supposed
absolutely right. If we're
if
supposed to, we will do it.
Yeah, the money that we raise for Caleb House is the exact amount that we're supposed to raise. So, but yeah, go check that out. You can get tickets for the festival at the website. You can get tickets for the charity dinner at the website. Also, we've got classes, paid classes on Friday before. We got 4 classes. Go check those out. There's some amazing class workshops that are going to go on. But I just wanted to throw that out there, and we'll touch some more of that at the end of the podcast. But today's topic is kind of a mishmash of supply chain stuff and natural disaster kind of things, honestly, which, natural disasters can play into supply chain issues.
Right.
Shelley, kind of, I assume everybody knows about the hurricane and stuff, but they might not know everything that's went on. I mean, you've got a bunch of stuff, all the, like you were touching on Asheville and Newport. Kind of go over some of that stuff. What's going on with there?
If you haven't, I mean, it's all over my social media when I bring that up, and probably because, people have been sending me videos and stuff like that. There are the interstate, I want to say it's I-40, I think,
Yeah.
that goes through the gorge that is the Tennessee North Carolina border. The underneath that interstate, I'm guessing it was a landslide or something. It kind of got washed out underneath there because of all the rain, and not the whole thing, the half of the interstate collapsed. And there are bridges that are washed out and roads that are washed out and flooding going on and dams. There are dams that are compromised. There was in North Carolina, I want to say it's called Lake Lure, like Lure. There was a dam there, and last I heard, they said that it was in imminent failure, which means that it's going to happen. I haven't gone back and looked to see that if it actually did fail. But in Newport, that dam did fail in Newport, and that's why that whole town is flooded in Tennessee. Um, I saw a map that had it said that all of the roads going into Asheville, North Carolina, are either flooded or washed out. Um, Bridges that are taken out. There, it's just it's a crazy mess. And somebody posted, I want to say it was Sean Mills. He's on my Facebook, from Self Reliance Festival. He posted about, he said we're getting ready to send 165 billion. I think that number's wrong. I think it's actually 240 billion. What I saw Biden saying on a news thing yesterday, I think I saw that. Um, he was excited because he was sending, I want to say it was $240 billion to Ukraine. You know, before he gets out of office, he was signing whatever that was that makes that happen. And our infrastructure sucks, y'all. I mean, we've got dams that are failing. We've got barges hitting bridges. That happened in, I think, Pennsylvania, tearing bridges up. Not even, excluding the stuff that's happening with the hurricane right now, there's been all kinds of infrastructure problems in the United States happening over the last few years. I mean, it's probably been happening for a long time. It's just my eyes are opened up and I'm seeing a lot of it now. But this hurricane has taken out so many things. I mean, I I get that there's supposed to be, I don't know all of the, all of military stuff. I've got a friend that I work with and he studies all of this kind of stuff. Like wars and all, it just intrigues him and he studies this. And he kept telling me, he was like, Shelly, we need to make sure that we do support Ukraine. And he's not, one side or the other. It's not about being on a side. He's looking at it from a military standpoint and what we, I guess, as the world, what we stand to lose if Russia comes in and takes Ukraine. But we've got stuff that we need to spend money on here. We've got things that we need to fix here. So I don't know. I just we're getting ready to send $240 billion to them, and we, it's just, it makes no sense to me. I guess it just frustrates me. I'm sure, along with tons of other Americans out there, it just frustrates me.
Oh yeah, my whole philosophy on foreign aid or aid to any other countries whatsoever is until every American citizen is taken care of, we shouldn't give money to anybody else. Period. End of discussion. I mean, and the whole Ukraine deal is a big, you know, boondoggle of crap and everything else. But the the big thing is we shouldn't send money to other countries until we got everything taken care of in the United States. There should be major money going into infrastructure and stuff like that, and just to maintain stuff. I guarantee a lot of these bridges that went out were not properly maintained. I can almost guarantee that because there was a study several years ago that so many of the bridges in the United States needed major structural fixes and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just shooting off the hip. I heard that years ago. But yeah, I mean, like Asheville, they were saying Asheville is pretty much the only way you can get in there is through in a helicopter, because
That's
all the
insane.
roads. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one reason that you should have some kind of preparedness because essentially the supply chain to Asheville shut down. That there might be a few back roads or something like that to get in there. I'm not super familiar with the area, but your major arteries are cut off from Asheville, so you're not like getting semi trucks of food and toiletries and all that kind of stuff coming in there. That's where you should be in the preparedness mindset. And granted, it might only be 3 days before they can get some stuff in there, but it might be a little bit longer than that. I know in most of East Tennessee and North Carolina, around in there where it's affected, it's a boil water advisory. Because that is even if water's still flowing through the pipes if they hadn't shut it down. So I mean, right there, your water is contaminated, where you're going to have to boil all your water if
Yep.
you got water. There's probably no electricity in a lot of those places.
And gas lines are cut off.
Yeah, I did see one thing. This was in Georgia somewhere. The girl is on a TikTok. Her and her husband walked through their subdivision, and they're like, "We had to evacuate our house because the gas lines had busted, and the whole place smelled like gas, natural gas." So that's just something else to think about. Uh, Also, going along with the supply chain issues, they're talking about the port workers going on strike October 1st, I think it is. What day
Yeah,
is that?
that's the whole East Coast.
Yeah. Well, they're talking yeah, October 1st is Tuesday. Coming up Tuesday, they're supposed to go on strike. I've heard a bunch of different stuff on it, like they're wanting a 40% wage increase, or they're
Dude,
wanting
I heard 77%.
really.
Like I saw that on a news article that they wanted a 77% wage increase, and I don't want to get into the whole all of the politics about that, and because I don't know what they make, and I don't know how they're treated as workers, and I don't know. I mean, I know it's a union, but what what do we do? You've got medicine comes in through those ports. I read somewhere that they unload 55,000 trailers or containers a day. On That's both coasts. So half of that was at 28,000, 27,000 a day. And that's medicine, that's supplies. I mean, you would like to think, oh, well, that's just your electronics or your cell phone, and who cares if we don't have that stuff? But that's not. There's all kinds of critical things because we're not a nation of producers anymore.
No, we're not.
We're a nation of consumers. And so what happens? What are your recommendations, Jason? What do you do? What do you tell people to do in that situation?
I mean, it all kind of boils down, honestly, to the preparedness mindset and being prepared for stuff. Uh, just having a small stockpile of stuff to get you through. I think they were saying on one podcast I was listening to, or a news article, if they shut down for one day, I think it would back everything up a week. And
Wow.
yeah, so if they shut down for one day, that would be a backlog of a week, and then it kind of went up exponentially. Like if they were shut down for a week, it would back it up for like a month or two, and then if they shut down for longer than like a week, they were looking into 2025 to start get everything back, to normal stuff. So
Wow.
we're setting in October. So you got October, November, and December. You're looking at 3 months or better. And they didn't say when in 2025. They just said 2025. So granted, it's probably like a lot of the strikes and the whole government shutdown. A lot of this is fear mongering stuff, but
Yeah.
it could go on. And if it lasts a week, that might be a month of a uh, trickle in of supplies. But it goes back to the whole preparedness deal. Start out, with like a 3 day supply of stuff. Like try not to leave your house for 3 days. Eat what you got in there. Use everything from your house. Uh, but stockpile stuff. Start your pantry. I know a lot of people that still that they go to the grocery every day or stop at the market and get what they're going to eat for dinner that day. And it's
Yeah, I
like,
never do that.
yeah, it's
There's a
like,
lot of people that do that though. I mean, they're like, I don't know what I'm going to want to eat, so I just buy it every day. Oh, okay.
yeah, I mean that's great in theory if you want to do that, but when you roll down through there and you're going to stop at the market and it's like they don't have anything because you know the trucks didn't roll through your rice aroni or whatever you wanted to eat that night. They don't have it, so a lot of this food supply stuff is probably not going to come as in big a play with the port workers because, I mean, yes, we're importing food and stuff like that. You might have to change what you want to eat a little bit, but it's not going to be like the all the grocery shelves are bare. You know, your fruity pebbles and your ramen noodle are probably still going to be there, but some of the other stuff might not be. But start your pantry on all that. Uh, Medical supplies.
Yes.
A lot of our prescription drugs come from China and India. I mean, that's two of the biggest countries that make pharmaceuticals. I still do not understand why China and India, honestly, in my opinion, I think they're two of the dirtiest countries ever, just from what I've seen, and why they're making our pharmaceuticals, why we're not making our own pharmaceuticals here. I don't understand.
Right.
But as far as medical supplies, your prescription drugs, your over the counter medicines, first aid items, make sure you've got more of a stockpile of those. Get those and make sure you've got enough stock. Then we've touched on it, you know what they're going to send to Newport, Tennessee, and over in East Tennessee, toiletries, hygiene products, baby
Mhm.
wipes, diapers. And now, honestly, like the people in Newport that had to evacuate and, you know, a lot of their town got wiped away, those people could have been prepared for this. You know, they could have been sitting there and they have all this, but when a flood washes through, you know, it takes everything down the river.
Right.
So I have, you know, yes, you can stockpile and do all that stuff, but something might go ahead and wipe it away. But yeah,
And our I just want to interrupt. Our KSL buddy Lawrence, he has a chant or a page on Facebook called Be Prepared or Being Prepared. It's being prepared, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um he posted on there, he said a lot of the people that were in the path of these floods, he said you can try to be prepared, but that's something that's really hard to prepare for because just like Jason said, it's going to wash everything away. And so Lawrence just suggested to make sure that you have, some kind of bag in your vehicle or something for each person in your family that has like 3 days worth of whatever you need, like whether it's clothes, socks, shoes, food, water, whatever, you have that in a bag in your car and you can go jump in your car and take off. And just like Jason's talking about, somebody might have had their basement full of canned goods and big barrels of food and all that kind of stuff. And it makes no difference when a flood comes through because it's just going to take all of it away. You
yeah,
need to be able to grab your stuff and your family and get out of the house as quick as you can too.
yeah. And that kind of goes in, and I'm going to skip ahead to some of my notes I made. Stay informed.
Yeah.
One of your biggest assets is having a community or a network of people. Not just that you can rely on. You know, let's say Shelly and I. Let's say Bowling Green gets a massive flood and something happens at my house. I've got Shelly that it's like, hey, you know, my house got wiped out. We really don't have much right now. It's a no brainer. Hey, you got some stuff that I can have until we get back on our feet, or can we come stay at your place a night or two until we get everything sorted out? So
Right.
that's building your network and your community, not just to rely on for that, but supply chain issues. You might get to be friends with the manager of Kroger, you know, so he could kind of tell you, hey, we're seeing, you know, less stuff trickling in every week.
Right.
We're putting in our regular orders of all this, but we're only getting half of it. So that's just an indicator, and that goes along. Go check out Forward Observer, Mike Shelby. He talks about building an intelligence network all the time. You don't have to get super tactical with it and call it your intelligence network, but it's what people used to do. They used to be friends with everybody, and they knew the manager of the grocery store. They knew the guy that owned the gas station. They knew the mechanic. You know, the mechanic might tell you, well, yeah, we've had a car in here for 3 weeks trying to get a sensor for it, and the sensors are stuck on the dock. So that's just another bullet point that you can put in to say, hey, maybe I need, you know, if you need new tires on your truck in the next month or so, if you've got the money, you would be far better off to go buy those tires and put them in your garage than to have that money just sitting in the bank, honestly.
Right. Right.
You know, any kind of durable goods stuff. stuff that you can see. And Shelly and I have talked about it for the festival. There's stuff that we need, so we went ahead and bought it. Even though it's going to sit there for 3 or 4 months, it's like we've got it. It's sitting in my shop or sitting at Shelly's house. So build that intelligence network, or just like your grandparents used to do. They knew everybody, and
Yep.
you could get data points. And then also going along with the community aspect of it, if your supply chain is local, it doesn't matter if most of the ports shut down as far as your food and stuff like that. I mean, right now, if we didn't raise our own food, I know a lot of people that I could go get beef from that's raised within 20 minutes of me, that never is this beef has never gotten on a cargo ship and never been unloaded by a union
Right.
worker. So it's lived on that farm. It
And
might.
most of the people we know that's not even ever been fed, chemicals or things that you don't want going in your food anyway.
Yeah, and it's like if I need soap, I can go get my straight frog soap from Shelly. So I mean that your toiletries, and I mean you could use the soap for shampoo, stuff like that. We need to find somebody that makes toothpaste. Would be cool,
Do you
but
know you can use diatomaceous earth for toothpaste?
I didn't know that.
You can.
I might have to try that. That and some
It
charcoal.
looks like you're eating mud, but it works.
So, but yeah, and I mean, the more local your supply chain is, the less the less disruptions you're going to have in the supply chain. So that's one of the big things. Local farmers, get your community involved, grow some of your own food. If your supply chain is out in your back field, hey,
You're good
that
to go.
yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with it. I could care less as far as food supply if the dock workers strike today, because I can go out there and put a sheep in the freezer and be eating sheep tonight.
Right.
So your supply chain, the shorter your supply chain is, the better you are with it. But also with the community aspect of it, if you've got people, if you've got several community members in a good sized community, you can buy stuff in bulk and save a lot of money on stuff. You know, if you're buying rice and beans and stuff like that, get 5 or 6 of the people together and buy a pallet load of it, and you're going to save a tremendous amount of money.
Right.
And then when it all comes in, bring it to one person's house and divvy all of it up. And hey, you saved a tremendous amount of money that you can put on other things. Uh, One of the other things, and this is about all that I've got as far as mine, is alternate energy and water sources. You know, there's not a lot of power. The power's cut off in a lot of those places in North Carolina and East Tennessee, and even in Georgia and especially Florida. I mean, there's no power down there, but those people that didn't get out, that's their own problem, in my opinion. I think it's stupid to try to ride out a hurricane, but you know, have some backup power, whether that's gas generator, a diesel generator, or a solar generator with solar panels. Have some kind of backup power supply at your house, and then also have water storage and or filtration. Have some kind of water storage set up at your place, because like the people that are affected now, it's a boil water advisory if the water pipes are still working and running. So it would behoove you to have a good amount of water storage and a backup power source, to keep all. I've got backup power sources because we got freezers full of meat that I don't want to go bad. So, Shelly, what's all your great thoughts on all of it? Since I've worked kind of word vomited on all of it.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered everything. But just to recap, um, if you're looking at, I mean, this hurricane. I mean, hurricanes don't come out of nowhere. We live in Kentucky. We get tornadoes that come out of nowhere, kind of thing. Um, but that's why it's important to do what Lawrence said and have that bag in your car ready to go with a few days worth of food so you can get out of the area if you need to get out of the area. Um, but if you're located in one of these places that, like in Asheville where all of the roads are out and you're stuck at your place, it's a good idea to have your food stocked up. Just like Jason said, it's a good idea to have backup water source or bottles of water or, big IBC totes of water. have alternate power sources and all that kind of thing. I mean, thank God it's September and the weather is pretty moderate. You don't have to worry about heating your house, that kind of stuff right now, but you never know if you would have to have. I mean, I remember the ice storm that came through Kentucky in 94 and people were without, that was February, and people were without power for some places a couple months and not able to heat their house unless they had a wood stove or something like that. You need to think those things through. If you it's nice to have a piece of property in an isolated area. I like being out. I have neighbors that are close to me, but they're good neighbors. I like being out in the country where I can't reach out my window and touch my neighbor's house kind of thing. I'm not into that. So being out, having a piece of land, being isolated and away from everybody is nice, but then if the road washes out and you can't get to the stuff that you need to have a backup plan for that. So all these things that Jason has talked about and listed, that's you know, if you have those things at your place, if you're prepared, doesn't matter if the guys go on strike on the docks, you're good. You have meds stocked up and you have food stocked up and you have water stocked up and all of that. So just be prepared.
Yeah, and one of the things about Asheville, and I've seen some pictures of Asheville. Even if you had like a 3-day food supply and you live, right outside of Asheville and your house is fine and everything like that, there's no resupply because the grocery stores, like
Right.
downtown Asheville, like you could just see the tops of the buildings.
Yep.
I
So
mean,
you
you,
can't even, it doesn't even matter that a grocery store only has about 3 days worth of food for that community anyway. But if it's flooded, you can't get what's in there. It's not helpful.
yeah, none of the stuff from some of the pictures I saw, nothing in those grocery stores and any of the stores in Asheville were going to be salvageable. I mean,
Right.
when just the roof is sticking out, I mean, you got soggy eggs and busted, or soggy milk or soggy bread and busted
Right.
eggs is all you've got. No French toast for anybody.
Well, and
So
I got a message from Michelle, um, which she said I've seen a lot of people on Facebook asking about, because there's a lot of homesteaders that are in North Carolina, South Carolina, that have YouTube channels and stuff, and so some people were asking about Billy and Michelle at Permapasture Farm, and they're good, they're fine, but she said they don't have any cell service where they're at, so not only are all of those crucial things that you need, that knocks out communication as well. So if you don't have, if you're cool with being where you're at and not communicating, you got food, you got water, you're good to go, you can ride this out for a while, then that's fine. But if you don't, when these big things happen like this, I mean, all of the roads that got washed away and landslides and all of that kind of thing. I even saw a video where, because a bunch of girlfriends and I we took a girls' trip to Gatlinburg last weekend. And some of the cabins, they had mudslides, and some of the cabins were like sliding down those mountains out there. And when that happens, it's going to take out your cell towers too.
yeah.
So, when communication goes down, do you have a communication plan? I mean, we happen to have S&B Homestead Radio that's going to be teaching a workshop the day before the festival, and they're going to be teaching about how to set up that communication plan with your family so you know how to get in touch with each other when something bad happens. It's
And a lot of the stuff, as far as the communications, you're going to use the communications are not sexy by any means, but you're going to use the communications a lot more than you're going to use
yeah, you
guns and
will.
stuff like that. The sexy stuff. So the unsexy stuff is going to keep you alive more than the sexy stuff will for sure. So I mean, Brian and Susan put on a tremendous workshop for that. They did one a while back for us, and it was amazing. I sat in there. I mean, I'm a general class ham license, and I learned some stuff sitting in there listening to what they were saying. So it's something for everybody, even if you know about communications. It's good to come in there because you're going to pick up some nuggets of information on all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we hate to see what's going on over there, and of course we hadn't really touched on Florida, but Florida's pretty well where the storm came up through. It's pretty well knocked out. I did see one person. They walked in and They walked into the back of their house and it was on a TikTok. And I was like, what in the world? They had sand had washed in all the way to the top of the cabinets. So there's 3 foot of sand, and the person panned over and looked, and you know how high they usually hang TVs on the wall.
Yeah.
There was like 6 inches uh, from the TV to the bottom of the sand. So this sand had washed in spots 3 foot or higher into their house,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm just like, how do you fix that? That's a lot of shoveling. That's one reason I would never want to live down there.
Well, everybody, I mean, keep all these people in your prayers. And if you have a way to help, reach out to Nicole. And or if you have another organization, or if you want to load up your van and take a bunch of stuff down to them, that's fine too. But if you have a way to help and you can, I recommend that you do that. Be sure to be praying for all these people, and um, especially the ones that have lost loved ones and all of that kind of thing. But it's pretty devastating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be a major cleanup effort, and it's not going to be fixed in a week. It's going to be, I mean, obviously, it's going to be years down the road before the place is. It'll probably never be back to normal, but it'll be years before a lot of stuff are rebuilt and everything like that.
I'll
So,
tell you, all these interstates that got knocked out in, eastern Tennessee and North Carolina and all of that, that's going to cause supply chain issues as well. I mean, not just for them, but for us too. I mean, it goes both ways. So, and when you got to go miles and miles and miles out of your way to get around all of that mess because there's no direct route through there anymore, that adds cost to whatever it is that you're ordering or trying to get.
oh yeah, exactly. So, on a brighter note, Shelley, let's talk about the festival for a few minutes.
Can I just list off? I mean, I know every time we talk about our speakers, and I'm so thankful for our speakers. Um, Hold on a minute, Jason. What? Okay. You can cut that out, right?
Probably, I'll
I
leave it
hope.
in. Who cares?
That was Sam. She came over here telling me something. Okay. So, um, I really want to go through and give you just a mix of the vendors that we're going to have.
Oh
But
yeah.
I do want to tell you another two more speakers that we've added to our list. Callie Blackwell, we did a video with her that has been released. You can go see that on my channel or Jason's channel. Um, she's going to be she's amazing. You need to go watch that video if you haven't, if you don't know who she is. But she wrote a book called 1 in 7 billion about her son that had cancer and how he was cured of that. And
We should have got Callie to come kick the hurricane, since she kicked the tornadoes over in England.
yeah, yeah, she
We never
does.
thought about that. We should have got her to do that.
Yep. I don't know, she might be ticking our weather off though, who knows. But anyway, so we've got Callie and we've got Dawn Gorman that's coming up. She lives down in Tennessee, and she's going to come up and talk to us about the family milk cow and raw milk and all of that. I'm really excited to hear what she talks about, because I have found that as I've gotten older, I'm a love drinking milk. I'm a milk drinker. But now when I drink it, it makes me sick. But if I drink raw milk, it doesn't make me sick. Imagine that. Um, so I really want to go through several of our vendors so you guys can get an idea of what we're going to have at the festival. We've got Farrell's Goods. They were at our festival in the spring, and they sell salves and lotions and stuff like that. We've got Buffalo Spirit Farm. They sell salves and tinctures. We got J&S pork rinds and kettle corn. Their pork rinds are delicious.
Yes, they
Um,
are.
their kettle corn's pretty good too. We got McCurvey Provisions. They have freeze dried snacks and treats. We've got the Craft Cottage. They have tumblers and sippies and towel sets and stuff like that. We've got somebody coming. It's Renee's Sweet Cakes. I'm all about some sweet cakes, but she's got some sugar free stuff too, like cake pops and stuff like that. Thunderhill Farm, Carrie Torgler from up in Wisconsin. She'll be back. She was at the festival in the spring. Y'all, that girl can make some bacon jam
Yes.
and cowboy candy and this homemade cream cheese. She, yeah, she makes seasonings and sauces and all that kind of thing. Her stuff is delicious. We've got Clear Mountain Provisions. They, hold
They
on a
do
minute.
candles.
Candles, yes, that's what it is. And fire starters and food wraps and stuff like that. Um, Hives for Heroes is going to be back. They're the ones that do, they find, so Hives for Heroes is a program to teach veterans how to be beekeepers. So they match up beekeepers to mentor people who want to be beekeepers, and it's a program that they do, and it's all for veterans, and their organization is really awesome. Um, what else are we going to have? Key Custom Knives is going to be back. He's been to all of our festivals. He makes amazing knives. He is the uncle of Leslie Gossett, who is our herbal chick that I talk about all the time. And Leslie's going to be there too. She's going to have a booth set up, and you're actually going to be able to stop by her booth and make some tinctures. How
Yep.
cool is that? Hot Brass Clothing Company. They're the guy. That's the guy who makes the ball caps like
These.
that. He made those that has the KSL logo on it. But
But
he makes
yours will be
ball.
clean.
Yeah, he makes ball caps that have a hot brass, not hot, but I mean, what is
They
that
got
called?
a
A casing? Is it a
yeah, yeah.
casing? Okay. It has a casing in the bill. Um, Bose Tractor Works. Some of you all have heard me talk about them. They make hemp salve that is the best pain reliever ever. It is the best pain reliever ever. All natural stuff. Everything that's on the ingredients, you can read all the words. And they make that and sell it. It's only like, I want to say it's 25 bucks a tub, and it's totally worth it. I love this stuff. Um, let's see. Everyday Prepper's going to be there. He's going to have his booth set up, and he has all kinds of old tools and oil lamps and garden stuff. And he loves to barter. So if you like to barter, you might be able to bring some things and barter with Jeff. Let's see. We've got Cane Creek Jerky is going to be there. They have all different kinds of jerky.
That's what I'm
Um,
all about.
yeah, I like jerky. We've got
We
Four Hearts Farm that's going to have freeze dried food. We've got Happy Hen Bakery. She's going to have sourdough bread and other kinds of stuff like that. That's just the, I don't know. That's just a handful of them. We've got so many great vendors that are going to be coming. Grumpy Acres is going to be there with their freeze dried booth. Angela has all kinds of freeze dried stuff. Uh,
Chuck
who
will be
else?
there. Chuck will
Chuck.
be
Yep.
there selling medical supplies
And
and
he'll
medical
have kits
kits.
and stuff. So if you're looking for a medical kit, if you go up to Chuck's booth and you say, "Hey, I want to buy a medical kit," Chuck is going to say, "What do you want it for?"
Yeah.
And he's asking you that because he's going to help you pick out specifically what you need for what you want it for. So, like, if you wanted something for your car, it's going to be these items. Or if you wanted something for your homestead, it's going to be these items. He will make sure it's tailored to what you need it to be. So, go check out Chuck at Homestead Medical because he's going to be able to help you out with that.
Yeah. And then of course Brian and Susan with S&B Homestead Radio, they're going to
Yep.
be there selling radios and communications equipment. They'll have all their stuff there. There is one lady that's coming that does charcuterie. How do you say that?
Charcuterie.
Yeah, that too. So
Yes.
I'm excited about that. I dig some of that stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I'm excited that she's coming too.
Yeah, and then also Yardbird will be there processing chickens on Saturday and Sunday. So you'll get in on that. And then actually, there's going to be a Yardbird plucker in the raffle that we're going to be
Hey.
giving away. Then there's some. I tell you, there's some awesome raffle stuff. There's a set from Caliber Armor. Also, go to caliberarmor.com. Uh, Use the promo code. What is it? The promo code is Homestead 10, and you'll get 10% off your order. They make plate carriers and body armor, all different types. They're actually made in Louisville, Kentucky, so you can go pick that up. And Caliber Armor is actually going to be at the festival selling armor and plate carriers too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, one other thing that I wanted to say that on Friday before the festival, we have the workshops. Now those aren't part of the festival. The festival starts on Saturday and Sunday. You pay $25 for your ticket with coupon code email 25. You can get those tickets for $25. And that's for Saturday and Sunday, all the vendors, all the speakers, all of that kind of stuff. But on Friday, we've got some workshops. We've got an all day canning class that's going to be put on by Angela from Grumpy Acres. We've got an all day radio class. I told you about that earlier in the video. S&B Homestead Radio. They're going to be doing a radio class on emergency communications and what to do, how to set that all up with your family, your friends. So if something does happen, like a hurricane, you can talk to people and still communicate. And then Chuck Peoples is going to be teaching a half day suture and wound care class. And that's in the morning. And then in the afternoon, Leslie is going to be teaching a half day herbal apothecary class, and you'll be able to make some things to get your herbal apothecary started. So tonight, I've scheduled a post to come out on Facebook tonight that I'm boosting. If you use promo code workshop10, you can get 10% off of those classes. So, and the promo code is working right now. The post isn't going to come out till like 8 o'clock Central Time tonight, but you can go sign up for those classes, use promo code workshop10 to get 10% off the cost of your class. And that'll be on Friday.
Yeah. And it's going to be an awesome time, guys. Get your tickets right now. Tickets are $25 with email 25. If you wait and buy those at the door, I can guarantee you they will be $35 at the door. There's no reason to go ahead and buy them, not to buy them right now. It's going to save you $10. It's going to be a great weekend. We got tons of speakers, tons of vendors. William Bond is actually going to be making compost there to show you in person on how to put a compost pile together. We're going to have a pile that's about 2 weeks old, so you can see what it looks like, and then we're going to have some finished compost to see. So you can see, from day 1 to day 28, what it's going to look like. So it's going to be an amazing time. Just honestly, the compost demonstration is worth $100 to sit there and let him show you how to do that in person. So I mean, you're getting an awesome value in what you're getting. Even at $35, it's an awesome value for the weekend. But guys, we appreciate it. We'll be praying for everybody that's been affected by the hurricane and hope they can get back to some kind of sense of relatively normalcy in the next little bit. So,
y'all take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Be prepared, y'all.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.